What's good, YouTube? This video is going to be about why modern men hate women over 30. That's the question. Why modern men hate women over 30. My thoughts. But before I start, this video is made in partnership with Mint Mobile. Listen, people doing broke out here. And if your phone bill is too high, like literally everything else, you now have another choice. When you switch to Mint Mobile now, you now get 3 months free with the purchase of any 3-month plan. Let's do some math. That's 6 months of service for your choice of 45, 60, 75, or 90 bucks total. Not a month, but total. And cheap doesn't mean unreliable because it runs on the T-Mobile nationwide 5G network. Plus, there are no contracts, so you can try it without fear of getting locked in. So why pay more for the exact same service? It's the same 5G services with the same capabilities. Unlimited talk texts, Wi-Fi calling, mobile hotspots. And if that's not enough, you get free calls to Mexico and Canada. There's no good reason not to try it, so click the link below to sign up. Now onto this topic. I'll be honest, they don't hate women over 30. They just find them much harder to control than women in their 20s, right? Especially the early 20s. Men aren't less attracted to women over 30 because women over 30 haven't quite aged. They might have matured, but the majority of them still are pretty hot outside of the ones who've let their bodies go. And we already understand that to be something that turns guys off a little bit. But in general, a woman who's in decent shape and over 30 isn't any different in the beauty that she possesses outside of she might appear more beautiful because she's more wise, she's more powerful, she has more life experience and more to offer a conversation. To be quite honest, women over 30 for many men are more attractive. But these guys who exclusively want women who are under 30 are operating from a place of control. They prefer control, they prefer dominance, they prefer subservience a lot of times. They prefer youth, right? That is a thing, right? They prefer a youthful woman. Sometimes it's about kids, but most of the time it's not about kids. Most of the time it's about the effect that you have on that woman. A woman over 30 knows what she wants. She takes a lot less shit from men. She doesn't necessarily allow herself to be ruled over sometimes. She has a career. She has her own things. She is who she's going to become, so she's not leaning on whatever that man provides to get her there. Right. So he has a lot less leverage financially, energetically, even spiritually. A woman in her 30s knows who she is spiritually a lot of times, or she's coming to a place where she's figured it out because she's had to do so without that man. So when that man comes into her life, he can't give her spiritual guidance. Sometimes he can't give her financial stuff. He can't rule over her in any way. He can't educate her or treat her this way or that way because a lot of women over 30 are world travelers. They succeeded for themselves. They found their religion or their spirituality. They know who they are. That's a lot for a guy who needs more control. He needs malleability. And that's a woman who doesn't have a direction yet and needs his guidance. That's a woman who feels that he can upgrade her. The other day I seen a video of a woman talking about why she was attracted to Rick Ross. Rick Ross's new girlfriend was talking about why she's attracted to Rick Ross. Money and power? She tried to fluff it like it was other stuff. What she said was, in essence, money and power, but she tried to fluff it like, oh no, he upgrades me, he educates me, he treats me this or that way. And I'm like, you're significantly younger than him. He has money and power. That's why you did it. Nothing wrong with that. Like, I get that. But a man like Rick Ross, who could date women his age, 40 something, 39, 44, I don't know how old he is. He's not, too young. He could date women his age if he wants to, but why would he do that? He could get a woman who listens to everything he says, does everything he wants them to do, follows every command, and is very young, very beautiful, has so much more life ahead of her than, he has so many more years of the beauty that he beholds. These guys are looking for a trophy on their arm. They're looking for control over that trophy. They're often taking a very possessive role. Now, I'm not accusing Rick Ross of any of these things. I'm just, this is a separate point now. Men don't hate women over 30. They just can't rule over women over 30. They have less control over them, and they oftentimes don't impress women over 30 that much more. right? And sometimes they impress them a whole lot less because that woman at that point has an equity of wisdom that puts this man back into a place to where his conduct needs to impress her and not just his state of being, not just his status, not just him being a man and available and attractive. You need to be a lot more for some women over 30. And I won't say all, because I talk to a lot of women over 30. I know that a lot of women over 30 are moving like women in their 20s. I know this to be a fact. But the assumption is that women over 30 are much harder to guide and coach and dictate over. And the types of men who are obsessed with that are coming from a place of power. And young women make them feel more powerful because they're more impressed by everything they do. They're in awe of all that this older person has accomplished. They're in awe of everything that this man has promised them. And so they don't have the same idea that a woman over 30 has, which is like, well, wait, that's not, I already did that. I've done that too. I got that now. Like, what else you got? How are you going to treat me? Right? A woman in her 20s isn't really concerned with how the powerful man treats her as long as he's guiding, as long as he's assertive, as long as he's a leader, as long as he's got money, as long as he's got power. She's just in awe of the experience because by his success, she feels successful. Right? She doesn't have to lean on her own success because she hasn't had the time in life to build the success that type of man has built most of the time. So women oftentimes upgrade themselves with the accomplishment of the man they choose. Right? A man has to go out and find his own accomplishment, find his own value. A woman can just attach herself to whatever value that a man has. And she by nature, by default, is that valuable now. Now that's the type of woman she is. She's a high-class woman if she screwed some high-class men and dated some high-class men and spent time in a jet, spent time in five-star hotels. Now that's the type of woman she is. That's the caliber she dates at, right? Her ego is inflated because she's had access to these things. These older men know that. And no matter how broke a man is, if he's over 30, if he's in his 40s or even 50s, if he's dating a woman in her 20s and she's only made $25,000 or $30,000 at her job, she hadn't hit those six figures yet. He could only have $70,000 and impress her. He didn't even have to be a six-figure man, to be quite honest with you. You can impress a young woman with a whole lot less than you can impress a woman over 30 with. So what they're doing is they're just grabbing the low-hanging fruit. Ironically enough, and to their benefit, the low-hanging fruit is also very beautiful and very sweet. So I get it. I understand. Some of these guys are dating 18-year-olds. That's just weird to me if you're like that old. But, you know, I know women right now that are, 40, 50, 60 years old, still screwing in their 20s with guys, and nobody gives them that same shame. And I think that they probably should, but who am I? It's not my place to do that. I just want to acknowledge that this is the reason. Men don't actually find women over 30 less attractive. If you 31 and you find they want to hit it, they also want control. Unfortunately enough, that's the type of guy that you probably don't want anyway. So we got to stop focusing in on these passport bros or these men who date severely younger women and feeling like how dare them, or we're losing something, or we're missing out on something, because these are the types of men who are not going to give you the experience in the relationship that you want anyway. So let them have that. Let them do that, and let these young women injure themselves if they insist, or try to guide these younger women if you're an older woman and you've already been through that. But you're not actually missing anything, because this ain't the type of man you want anyway, because he's looking for rulership and he's looking for a dominant dynamic in a relationship a lot of times. And some people say this stuff is predatory. I don't think it's predatory, because these young women think they're preying on these older men who are more established by trying to get to their pockets. They are actively preying on these men too. So it's just two shallow people using each other for shallow shit. That's what it is. These young women know what they're doing. They're adults, just like these older men. They're not young, impressionable, and innocent. They're gold digging, and they're getting their gold. And that man is getting the honey. So it's a win-win for these people. Let these people have that. But most men, especially most normal, healthy-minded men, aren't trying to date 20-year-olds when they're 50 and 40. They're dating women who they have more in common with. So no, men don't hate women over 30. That's an intentional miseducation of women to make them be more subservient to men who are not qualified to lead women or a household or a family. Anyway, that's all I got for now. If you need coaching, go to girltalkwithguys.com. The link is in the description. I do half hours, hours, video calls, text messaging, the whole nine. Go get coaching. If you need coaching, thanks for watching. I'll get with y'all later.